Riveting content. Empowering your life. Welcome to the Sphere. This episode is sponsored by Houston Housewives of Finance. For more information on increasing your cash flow, becoming your own money manager, and to schedule your complimentary personal finance strategy, contact the Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463. Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, Dr. Ashandra Batiste understands that one of the biggest obstacles is dental fear. The vision at Elite Dental Wellness is to ensure every patient is treated with respect, ultimate care, patience, and love. Call us today to make an appointment at area code 713-789-8680. Looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today to advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Society Now, a show that endeavors to bring you riveting content that inspires, excites, and invokes. My name is Kalan Laws, and I'm your host. You can follow me on Instagram at The Modern Day Cindy. And I have two special people with me today. Two special people with me today. I have Senor Wapo here, Kalan Laws.
Hey, how are you?
And I have Vincent Powell here today.
So happy to be here.
So Senor Wapo's here. He's actually a part of the Sphere Network.
Yeah, a little show.
And you do so many things. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
So here on the Sphere, I am the co-host of a groundbreaking show entitled G is for Gentlemen, where we celebrate all things gentlemanly, especially gentlemanly style and culture. So we like to have a great conversation regarding what it is you should wear as a gentleman in 2017, what it is you shouldn't wear. We also love to talk about, Kira, fashion. I mean, not just fashion, but travel and dating and food and all things of that nature. And also kind of, some people say I do a little political science type of deal as well. I'm a political science professor by day, but I'm a fashioneur by life. So it's just a little bit about me. You can follow me at Senor Wapo 713 on all social media outlets.
So fancy.
Hey.
Right.
I mean, this whole little pitch, is he selling himself right now? You better sell yourself
for it, bro.
for the high, not the low,
For the
okay?
high.
Not the
How
low.
much you ready to pay for?
Be a product.
Be a
Well,
product.
I don't know if I should have to pay for anything. Anyway. Okay, and then we have, this person really doesn't need an introduction, but if y'all don't know who he is, y'all need to get to know him. Y'all better know him now. And if you see him in the street, you better get his autograph because he gonna
Quickly.
be so. Y'all, let me just let him tell you who he is and what he does. Tell us about you.
My name is Vincent Powell, and I'm just a nobody trying to tell somebody.
Oh, come on now.
I'm kidding. I am a filmmaker and a media marketing
Guru.
I'll say it. And
Come on,
I
guru.
enjoy spending my time helping people realize their full potential and being able to market things that they thought perhaps weren't marketable.
Come on, because everything has a market.
Everything.
Listen, people out there selling paper clips, y'all. The
Listen.
toothpick didn't have potential until somebody figured out you put it between your teeth.
I'm so
Somebody.
mad. Listen,
Somebody.
I'm so upset. I pray all the time. I say, Lord, give me the floss anointing.
A floss, because who
it's
thought
just-
about that?
it's just
Y'all never
string.
thought about that?
It's
Y'all
just
ever thought about that?
string.
A floss anointing?
Come
Y'all
on,
better
man.
get a floss anointing. That's
You
what
just
y'all
have to be
need.
thin enough. You know
Listen,
what I mean?
come
Little
on
wax
now.
on it.
Thin enough.
Okay, I'm not even go there. So this is Society Now. This is not fake news, y'all.
Uh-oh.
So today we're going to talk about a lot of different things. A lot of stuff is happening in society, but since I have these beautiful bearded gentlemen with me, I'm going to talk about a lot of things that affect them and their perspective on how things are unraveling or unfolding
Come on,
Unfolding.
in society today. So one of the things we saw on the news this week was this LAPD officer was caught.
Man.
He was caught, y'all,
Man.
putting drugs in the person's wallet,
Sure.
and he forgot that his camera was on.
Didn't know it. Yo.
Let me tell y'all, these cameras are saving our lives right now.
Let me tell you something for the first time.
For the first time,
Yeah,
they're
forever.
actually working in our favor.
for the first time. Sooner or later, it was gonna turn
What did
in our
y'all think
favor.
about that? I mean, because I know we know this has been happening for years, decades, eons,
Certainly.
right? But certainly they didn't think about turning the cameras off. I don't want them to, because
Yeah.
people need to get
Yeah.
caught if you're doing some dirty. But that was
Yeah.
wrong, and I'm glad it was caught in court.
For sure.
Yeah.
In
For
court.
sure.
Yeah.
Being from LA, I live in LA.
He's not from.
And-
He lives.
Right. I live in LA. It'll be 1 year. It's coming up on 1 year.
Oh my
me
God, I
living
don't
in
even
LA.
know
I'm
how
born
we-
and raised in Houston. Fofo all day. But being in
Shout
Los
out to the
Angeles,
north side.
news about the LAPD or stealing a car or a high-speed chase is what makes breaking news. And when this came out, I was fully alert because I couldn't believe what I was hearing, that they didn't know the camera was running. And when you watch the footage back from 12 different angles that have never been released, the LAPD has never released footage before. And you watch this back from 12 different angles, this man was setting up this black gentleman who was being arrested for a hit and run, but had to further indict him by putting drugs on him to
Because-
make sure.
To
Right.
make sure he not only went to court, but went to jail.
For sure.
Isn't that like, what I just really want to know, isn't that like some deep-rooted hate?
Yeah, well, you know, we're facing that, that unfortunately, and maybe it is fortunately, I'm not sure, depending upon how you look at it. That's what we're dealing with right now, is that deep-rooted hate, right? It's
Oh, so that's a question. So is that deep-rooted?
yeah, I believe it is. I believe that there's an inherent bias. And listen, I'm a black man in America. I'm a 6'4" bearded black man in America.
And
I
the beard is a...
Yeah, and
That's the
I
thing.
understand the inherent bias that's against us as men, as black men in America. And it's not a cop out, it's not race baiting, it's just the God's honest truth. And so being that, you know, evidence being planted, folks lying on I mean, unfortunately it's nothing new in our community. But now it is being exposed. But the rate of exposure, I think, has been heightened because of our current administration.
Current administration and people are actually using social media for the good, right? Because we're starting to see a turn, because of course the current administration, I think, has ticked people off or made people, I guess, more like, okay, sensitive.
Well,
Like, well, let's help everybody.
Yeah, but on the flip side, it's giving if I can say this, it's giving people some balls.
You know what I'm saying? To make
To do the folks, the offenders, to actually do this.
yeah.
Right? You
That's
see what I'm
true.
saying? The
That's
people that
true.
would have once been
They used to be
quiet
hiding.
and,
Popped up now.
and covert racists, covert bigots,
Yeah.
covert whatever are now overt because it's from the top of the land, right?
Tis true.
And
Tis
so I
true.
think chiefs are emboldened, politicians are emboldened, regular everyday Joe Schmo, that, you know, Susie Q, they ready to jump fly, and it's something that we've been knowing in our community for literally centuries, but you know, it's now being exposed.
And it's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Now let's turn the tables a little bit. Now we have a situation where J. Crew is in the news, and J. Crew is in the news for the backlash over their decision not to style one of their models' hair.
Okay.
Now the model is African American, and of course, you know, I can speak about this. Our texture of hair is not. First of all black persons don't have the same texture of hair, and we can't just necessarily wash and go everybody's hair. Everybody's hair can't be blow dried, flat ironed, or whatever. Everybody has their own regimen. I think when people sign up for certain jobs, they have an expectation that they'll be treated equally, and I think sometimes in that equal treatment, as you guys see, that equal treatment is just not. It doesn't come across the right way. Yeah,
wait.
that happened in real life.
Hold on. Oh wait, that's what I'm going to investigate.
This actually happened,
You
y'all.
want to see the
So,
evidence?
yeah, okay, that's what I was looking for. So, and God bless this sweetheart for being a model and having a job, but she clearly woke up, went to work, and assumed that they were going to style her.
No, they did that to her.
Oh wait.
Y'all, so I can speak to this
Wait,
from a
wait,
personal
wait.
perspective. I really can speak to this from a personal perspective. When I was younger, I modeled for a company. I can't say the name of the company because I'm gonna, but I remember, they said we had to set up for shoots or whatever. And I remember telling my mom, I was like, I hate the way they did my hair. Now, mind you, I didn't have a cell phone or whatever, but I have the pictures, and my hair didn't quite look like that, but it was something around that, whatever. And it was like a little bun, their version of a bun for me. And it was like they put every hair net spray or whatever they could put in my hair, and not like I don't have kinky hair or extra curly hair. My hair is thick, but it could definitely be styled better than what it was. And I really walked away feeling like I didn't get the same treatment in terms of, and it was a lack of sensitivity and diversity.
Yeah.
You want people, you bringing in a diversity, right? But is it really inclusive, right? The difference between diversity and inclusion, like, are you treating everyone the same way? Are you
Right.
really actually considering the situation that they're facing?
I was just speaking to some students about this at Texas Southern University this Friday, concerning their entry into corporate America, and how those who are currently in power of these major organizations don't look like us. Thus, they don't, understand our perspective, our plight, our lifestyle. They just don't get that that's how our hair grows out of our head. And so this inherent, we talked about inherent bias just a minute ago. There's another inherent bias as it relates to our hair. I'm bald, right? I shave it off because I got my daddy hairline, but everybody's hair, as you so eloquently stated, Kira, everybody's hair doesn't grow the same, and there's just certain styles, unfortunately, that we can't wear. As it relates to this sister here, the fact that they intentionally made her hair that way lets me know from a number of different things. Number one, they have never ever done anything relating black women successfully, if that was on purpose.
Well, and it also talks to or speaks to who they had in their makeup and hair room. Like, who did you have styling? Like, because you knew you were trying to include more African Americans in your campaign. So did you not reach out to people who actually do African American hair and a diversity of African American, a variety,
because our textures are so varied, so varied. Yeah, and then it also speaks to who's the decision maker at J. Crew that green lighted that these folks being on staff, like a black person who was the producer of this video, or who was the executive producer of this campaign, would have been like, well, no,
that's not right.
Wait, hold on, that ain't right.
Regardless of who it was, if it was a male or female.
Does this person know how to do black hair? That would have been one of the first questions that person would have asked.
And I think another thing we have to think about is, I know some people had comments about how, well, she could have fixed it. Well, no, actually not, because when you sign up for these contracts, they expect you to do exactly what they do to you. So they tell you to wear your stuff a certain way. If they rip your shirt and they want you to wear it ripped, that's how you wear it. If they put a yellow bow in your hair, that's part of the contract. So she couldn't just go into the bathroom, pull out her comb and her brush and her hair or whatever, and just tie her hair up and make it look a certain way. That's just not what the negotiated thing was. And I know you know that from a different perspective, because you're in that casting room and all that stuff. So they have an expectation, right?
Yeah. And I think that, speaking about the right people being on the board and on the decision-making committee, makes a big difference.
Right.
And it's just a matter of being able to make it human. And because these people in power are so disconnected and so out of touch that they don't realize that the perspective of the audience is so important these days. It's the same reason the Pepsi commercial
went awry. Yeah.
It's the same reason that we look at these commercials in such a different perspective when we see a Levi's commercial and they show the black mom as a single mother, but the white family it has a father.
A nuclear union.
Perspective.
Right, for sure. And so these people that are in the decision-making process, the question becomes, how did it get to fruition? How did it get to this place without somebody stopping in the same way?
Absolutely.
Somebody, even if they're not on the board, let's call somebody in that's a person of color to just see if this is okay.
Consult.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it really is going to hurt Jake. It really can potentially hurt J. Crew's brand, because they could lose assets, lose money, lose influence, lose power. And for those of you who are listening and watching, I hope you are in a position where you are not losing assets and losing money. But if you are, this portion of the show is sponsored by Houston Housewives of Finance.
Come on, finance.
Did you know that only 4 states in the United States offer financial education? 33%, or more than 77 million Americans, don't pay their bills on time. 39% of Americans carry credit card debt from month to month, and 39% of adults say they don't have enough savings. Don't become one of these statistics. Let Houston Housewives of Finance advise you on increasing your cash flow and becoming your own money manager by scheduling your complimentary personal financial strategy. Contact Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463 or email us at info@houstonhousewivesoffinance.com. Ask how you can participate in a complimentary financial strategy workshop near you. Houston Housewives of Finance are the new faces of the new age of financial services. And so, it's one of once it hits the pocket, I mean, Pepsi learned it. Once it hits that pocket, it's a wrap.
Papa John's learned it.
He's learning it.
And the NFL is learning it.
He's learning it. And it's so much to that, because we're seeing how they're really, they tried to use the race card to, I guess, flip the conversation. But people are like, no. Oh, no. That doesn't work with us because you haven't did your homework. You need to do your homework before you even try to create this conversation where we're the bad guys or we're the
Right.
bullies or we're trying to paint you in a bad light. So it's interesting.
Indeed. We want to give a shout out to all of our Facebook followers.
Indeed. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Some of these names I can't read.
It's so small, but we
It's
love
so
you
small, not
all.
even just long.
I see Mario McCoy.
I see Marcus Black.
Hello.
Jeremy Kaiser, my boy.
Hey.
Andreas Sodders. We thank you all for watching. We appreciate everything that you're doing. And we ask that you subscribe to our show on all the major platforms, including iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. Review our show in iTunes with constructive feedback and
Hey, cousin.
share. I'm going to say this again. Share this Facebook Live post and the entire show, Vincent, with your family and friends. Donate to our mission to bring enriched and inspiring content each and every week. You can donate at www.thesphere.tv/donate.
And you know what?
Look,
Now more
cousin
than
can
ever,
pop. Hey, Carrie.
It's great.
Carrie, what up?
People love just outlets like this.
Yeah.
And I talk to people all the time. They're like, hey, do you have any new podcasts I can listen to or download? And so we're definitely in a consumer society where it's not just about music and movies or videos. People definitely want to hear thought leaders.
Yeah, absolutely.
converse over
Absolutely.
things.
They want to hear there's something real. They want to hear something they can connect to, not just hired, hand mouths or whatever.
Yeah.
They want to hear someone that is going to give an authentic perspective that's not jaded by, I guess, commercialism.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah,
on,
but
commercialism.
and so if you want to keep hearing stuff like that, go ahead and go to www.thesphere.tv. We have 14, 15 different shows in the pipeline. That we can talk to anything you need. Isn't that right, Kira?
Anything. So moving right along, y'all. Now this is starting to build on this whole hair conversation, right? So a teacher, y'all, in Nashville, Tennessee, bless her little heart, decided that she was going to pull off a student's hijab. A Muslim student, and she took her head scarf off, exposing her hair in the classroom. And one of the things she said, as she took a picture on her Snapchat,
The
is
teacher
that
took a
yes, is her hair pretty hair is in quotations. And then she made a comment out loud and said, "Your hair is too pretty for it to be covered." There is now
She's too stupid to be teaching.
right. So there's a certain level
sorry,
of
my bad.
insensitivity that we have to address when it comes to ethnic changes and differences. You don't do that. That's shamed that girl in public. That's shaming. That's her religion. That's what they do. And you can't do that.
Especially in a culture that has been under so much fire.
Oh,
for the
so
last
much.
16 years
Yes.
in America, and has been painted as this evil religion, to say the least. And they're just now coming into a place where people are actually starting to listen to the idea that painting Muslims in a bad light is just propaganda being used by certain politicians.
Right.
And so all people of all religions and all backgrounds should be treated with the same amount of respect.
Absolutely.
That you reserve for yourself.
Absolutely.
And when you do this to a child that is formidable and they're still moldable, and
Absolutely.
they're still able to make decisions, you don't know what you've just changed in the trajectory of her life and her belief and how she views her parents and her religion and their way of life. Because their religion doesn't just end on Sunday mornings.
No,
like a lot
it's
of
they live it.
Westernized
Right.
religions. Their religion is something that they live. They pray a number of times a day at certain times.
Yeah.
Their diet is very strict. And you have to be able to respect somebody like that. And that isn't taught to them at an old age. They learn that from ages like this.
Yeah.
On how to live a life.
Absolutely.
As a Muslim.
Absolutely.
And so for you to do that and shame this girl, you shamed her race, her religion, her as a human and an individual, and you write it off as, oh, she's just a kid, she doesn't care.
And you know what was interesting is that the teacher denied it once they investigated it initially.
But I'm like, but
But
then you put it on
screenshots
your
don't lie.
look. But you put it on your Snapchat.
Come on, fam.
Screenshots don't lie.
You
And
know,
first of all, you a teacher. What you doing with a Snapchat? Why are you using it during school
during
time?
school, like with kids, like
that's something
they
inherently.
they need to be
yeah.
consented in order to be filmed.
It's so many
Right?
things wrong with this, but she definitely, they
crazy.
definitely, I'm sure that they're doing further investigation, because when you have things like this happen, it's not the first incident, most likely. There's incidents of, diversity issues that have just not been addressed. And I think that this is an opportunity for them to have diversity training, to really talk about some of their just ignorance.
Right.
It really is ignorance.
Right.
It is ignorance. You know what I mean? Because you have to know what area of well, I'm not going to say it because I'm sure there are places in the world that just don't understand, but for the majority of us in the United States, we know that this is a part of a religion, and we dare not cross that. That's
and
like
that we build our American rights on the fact that you have a right to choose your religion.
Right, the freedom of.
The freedom of it.
So amazing. So amazing. It's America 2017. That's my
So
line.
man.
America 2017.
Oh boy.
So that's so crazy. So we do have a lesson in Black love coming from Common, and I think I love it. I really do love it. I think Common has really stepped up to the plate. Now, we've watched Common publicly be in relationships over, since he's been in the light. But now he's dating Angela Rye, and we love Angela Rye.
Love Angela.
Hey,
Angela.
sis.
Sure.
Okay, so Angela Rye is amazing, and he said he credits Angela Rye for pretty much encouraging him to be more woke. To more politically engaged. He said, of course, for his hometown where he is in Chicago, he's definitely, paying attention now. Like, okay, yeah, I was paying attention before, but now I'm really wanting to sink into what I can do to make the community better.
Yeah.
And I think when you get people like Common, who's always been socially conscious in his own way, meeting up with Angela Rye, I think that could be a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
That could be a beautiful thing.
It definitely could be a beautiful marriage. Let's back up for a second. I need to shake Common's hand as a man, because Common keep a bad one.
Yeah,
He does. Serena, right? He had Erica.
He did
right?
have Erica. Erica had him rocking koofies.
Yeah, Erica had him out there, but when he loves hard, and so this is why I
He
really,
loves hard because he is selective. I don't
selective,
think he doesn't have a type, and I like that because Erykah Badu is not like a Serena. Serena's not like an Angela.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think that he definitely takes the time to be selective in who he dates, and I don't think I don't think it's by chance that these two are together right now. America 2017.
Agreed.
And she's certainly a voice right now.
Oh, for
that
sure.
is rising up in our nation. And I really just want to take my hat off to female journalists
Absolutely.
of the African American descent.
Come on, female journalists.
Because they have been shutting it down all 2017.
Man.
April Ryan reminding
Ryan,
the White
yes.
House that Martin Luther King Jr. is dead.
Well, come on.
Then you've got our girl from ESPN.
Jamil.
Jamel, yeah.
Yeah, Jamel Hill. She came under fire from just keeping it real.
Keeping it real.
On her own social media.
Right.
Okay.
And I think that it's really impressive that even in a day and age where we're questioning all of our Bill of Rights in the first 10 amendments of the Constitution, that Black women, the last group of Americans to get their rights, are standing up and speaking truth to power.
Yeah.
And what better than to have someone that is respected as a wordsmith, Common, be coupled with somebody like Angela Rye.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful, and what you just said, it just definitely supports the statement that they said, African American women are the largest group of educated college, women or college persons in general, not just women, just persons. They're the biggest growing one, and it's really showing now. It really is showing. I think we're stepping up. We're taking our place in history, not just behind strong voices that were there before, but we're actually stepping up. And really making ourselves known.
Absolutely. Can I take a page out of the Society Now book? Listen, I watch the show all the time, and let's give a what do you call it? One clap for Black Girl Magic.
Come on, Black Girl Magic.
Let me tell you about the two other Black girls who they don't have as long as a Wikipedia page as Angela Rye, but Kira, y'all hold it down.
We try. I try to bring some news, y'all.
Path, girl.
I'm trying to figure out. Listen, this path may not look as pretty as everybody else's, but I'm making my path. I just said I was going to tell people I'm going to make my path. I'm carving my niche in this world because you have to.
Cinderella reminded us, in your own little corner,
in your own little chair,
you can be whatever you want to be.
You can be whatever you want to be.
So listen, I don't care how big or small your chair is. Sit in it and
be proud.
Sit in it
and proud.
Do you hear me?
And wear your crown. Okay, we're not gonna talk about
your
that.
Crown, VP.
Okay, y'all so crazy. Okay, now
look at your crown, brother.
This is one subject I really want to dive into, and it really is talking about mental health in the African American community, and we could talk about this forever. This is going to be ongoing conversation. I think it starts from a place where, as African Americans, historically, we have passed on this message within the home that when things happen in the home, you don't talk about it.
Don't tell my business.
You don't tell my business outside of this house, and so I think from there, when things started to fester, we never really sought help, and not seeking help turned into mental illness, depression, some suicide, although that was a no too, right? Because for years we would say Black people don't kill themselves. That was something we would say. That was a mistruth.
Right. When you would hear something on the news and they killed themselves, you would say, who was that, Black or white?
Yeah, but so we would go through that over and over again, and we would talk about what that looks like and how that affects us as a community. And I think for so long, our smiles were fractured because we really couldn't smile through some things. We grew up very hard, very stern. We pursued things with passion, but not necessarily with fun. Like, we weren't happy about some of the things we were pursuing. But before we even get into this, I love talking about smiles. I love talking about Elite Dental Wellness. Y'all, let's talk about it. The smiles. I love Elite Dental Wellness. They're amazing. So this portion of the show is sponsored by Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, our vision is to create a welcoming practice that will offer exceptional dental care and a lifetime of dental wellness. We are committed to the finest possible oral care and the overall health and well-being of our patients. Elite Dental Wellness is built upon the foundation of integrity, expertise, and service. Through our commitment to modern dentistry, continuing education, and a friendly atmosphere, we strive to make our patients feel that they are a part of our family. Dentistry can be scary, daunting, and uncomfortable. Dr. Baptiste and her team work tirelessly to ensure your comfort. Make your appointment today with Dr. Ashandra Baptiste at Elite Dental Wellness at 713-789-8680. Again, the number is 713-789-8680. Elite Dental Wellness.
You better smile when you say that.
You know, I feel like people need to invest more in that smile. You know what I mean?
So much better when you smile.
Well, you do so much better when you smile.
Try to
And
tell
sometimes in the world, going back to us as a people, we can't even smile through some of the things that happen to us. And so that's what I'm talking about, this mental health issue in America. Now, recently we saw publicly for weeks on end this breakdown of, unfortunately, Tyrese on social media. And it went on for weeks, y'all. And now he's saying that part of the reason why he was going through this breakdown was because of the medication that he was on, that I guess he had an adverse reaction to it. And this medication, I guess, was to help him through some of the things he was experiencing. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about this particular medication. I haven't done my research to know what it is. But the depression meds he said he was on, parts of the depression because of the fact that, you know, he was going through the court case. Of course, he has some other things. He keeps bringing up finances and stuff in his life. So as African-American men, how do y'all deal with the areas in your life when you feel overcome, when you feel downtrodden? Like, how do you deal with that?
I wanted to preface what I'm about to say by acknowledging what you just said. We mentioned mental health, and the first thing we mentioned is medication. And I believe that the downfall of American society is not going to be capitalistic nature and the rich versus the poor, but it's the fact that we've built so much of an industry on the pharmaceutical industry. And when you look at the commercials between segments of shows on television, whereas it used to be filled with food, it's now more so filled with pharmaceutical ads. And half of that pharmaceutical commercial is dedicated to the side effects.
Y'all don't realize it was a huge lawsuit recently about how back in the day they used to do side effects and they say them really fast, and people actually rose up and sued, and they was like, okay, now you have to say them slower and you have to print it.
Exactly. And the print has to be legible.
It has to be legible, and then after that, people will still go and ask for it because you've been programmed, because you heard the the good stuff in the front end. You don't even consider like, well, this actually might
have an adverse
effect on me.
And so you saying that the meltdown that we've seen with Tyrese could be caused by medicine, I'm pretty certain it was. And because once you allow your body to intake something that is not a natural component of it, it has the ability to alter your chemicals in your body, and that's what regulates our systems and our thoughts and our health. And so it's not a question of the fact that these anxiety pills and stuff all can work and make certain feelings or emotions feel more subtle. And also, if you take gaps in taking those pills, they become louder or more vibrant in your world. And so, I felt so bad when I saw it come across, and I thought to myself, I'm grateful to have a world where I have a network of people and brothers, sisters alike, where I can vent to and share frustrations and be very transparent with. Because I learned some time ago that I can't trust myself with pent up frustration.
Right, absolutely.
Especially as a black man, where we're not taught to properly express our emotions. You have to, as soon as you realize, oh, my life feels freer or feels better when I do this, find yourself in a place where you can be vulnerable to a brother, to a friend, or to a significant other, and be open and transparent about it. I'm not going to sit here and say, though I'm a devout Christian, I'm not going to sit here and say you have to be a Christian, but studies do show that
Having
if
faith.
you have a faith in a higher power, you're far more likely to live a life less compounded by mental anguish and frustration.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of the points where you find yourself at the end of the road are because of things that are happening outside your life.
Absolutely.
And so Tyrese is dealing with all this stuff outside of his life, and he has nowhere to funnel it through. And
Yeah.
he doesn't have friends that can just stop him and shake him because he hasn't given people that kind of access to him. And I think that vulnerability is what's required in order to keep a peaceful mindset.
And just a note on that, I know that last week I was reading that Russell Simmons, well, supposedly Russell Simmons had told him to go to this yoga retreat, and he was in the UK or something like that, and because of he went to this retreat to get his mind clear and to probably to reset, he wound up missing his court date for visitation. And so that people were like, well, you were doing all this crying, complaining about you wanted to see your daughter, but you missed your court date. And people were like, well, actually he probably needed to go somewhere to get help. So if he went to court unstable, there would have been more ammunition for keeping him away. So it's just a lot of things that go with that. You had a comment as well.
Well, you know, and to go back about the severity of the side effects that antidepressants and antipsychotics can have. Before I graduated college, I worked at a law firm and we worked on two multi-district litigations for two large products. And I don't because we live in a litigious society, I'm not going to say them. But these side effects, like one of the things that the firm was suing about was the antipsychotic and the antidepressant causing diabetes.
Yeah.
As well as compulsive gambling.
Yeah.
As well as
the triggers.
You know, so many triggers, right? As well as lascivious appetites. And all of these things go hand in hand with depression. And so you're 100% right that we
Isn't that interesting how that
right?
that happens?
And we over-medicate, right? And you see that in the schools, over-diagnosing and over-medicating, right? With children, everybody being labeled ADD and, you know, and all of this kind of deal.
Some of it's mislabeling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Over-diagnosing. And so with what him saying that, you know, this was a reaction and to what him taking, I wholeheartedly believe it, because I remember taking in the cases of thousands of people across this country who dealt with the same thing.
I pulled up a couple of statistics and facts about mental health in the black society. It says Black Americans are as likely to suffer from mental illness as white Americans. We just talk about it less. Then it says relatively high rates of poverty increase the likelihood for mental health issues.
Absolutely.
And it's all in those formidable years.
Yeah,
It's not poverty in
absolutely.
your older years.
No, it's what you've
It's when you're being
experienced.
formed.
Yeah, the trauma of seeing and experiencing certain
For
things.
sure.
Actually, I mean, I could speak about that from a child perspective. I personally didn't go through some of the things that my mom went through, but I lived out the trauma of her dealing with stuff as a child growing up in a project in New York. So I experienced some things that other people might have experienced. I tell people all the time, my mom didn't give me certain things or didn't buy me certain things because in her mind, I don't ever want to be broke again.
Of course.
And so in her mind, I'm going to carve out this beautiful world for you, but it's not going to include these things. It's going to include safety and its protection, but it's not going to include, right. But and then the flip of that is it kind of helped me along the way because I was becoming more creative and I was able to become more resourceful. But I saw how it played out in her life because she literally did not give herself. She didn't allow herself to indulge. She didn't allow herself. And even now she has to be pretty much coaxed to like, you can do this, this okay. You're not the same person you was 60 years ago. And it's interesting to see how that plays out.
I
it really
think that
is.
the spectrum is something that we also have to think about, is that Tyrese is on a very different end of a spectrum that most of Americans that are watching him are on financially.
Yeah.
He's in a different tax bracket.
Yes, absolutely.
And so people in a lower class are watching someone in an upper class and saying,
Flip
oh my
out.
God, he's flipping out. But he's flipping out on a totally different reason than
our issues and his issues are totally different. So you can't compare
if
it.
somebody else had $14,000 in expenses just to take care of their child per month.
That's
they
a lot.
Some people would have ended their life.
They would have jumped out the window.
Jumped out a window.
Yeah.
Bullet through and so I think that social media charges us to kind of laugh at people sometimes in their pain. But it's serious because the mental health, regardless of what level you're on, it's just as real and just as life-threatening.
What?
And really quickly, as a father,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
Being told that you can't see your
Sure.
child and you
Sure.
want to and you desire to, that would
Right.
drive me crazy.
Right, and while there are fathers that see their children all the time and molest them, and or see
Yeah.
their children
It's a
all the
lot
time
of-
and don't
it's-
take
It's a-
care
it's
of
so
them,
multi-layered.
And then you have these fathers, a black father, wanting to be present when the statistics show that it's the absence of black fathers that were the downfall of the black society, which is why it goes all the way back to slavery.
I would say it goes
If they
to
wanted
slavery.
punish the slaves, they would take men and castrate them and
Right.
cut off their thumbs. Those weren't things that happened to the women. The women were done bad, but if they could take a man and connect him to horses and rip his body apart in front of everybody, it ruins the society
Yeah.
because
Right.
the society of a black community rests on the back and the shoulders of the black man.
Absolutely. And then you think about this from this perspective. One of the things I mentioned when I was thinking about the show today was what's the issue with oversharing. There's a big issue with oversharing. I know Tyrese has went to media to share what he's experiencing, but I'm like, but is there really a balance for it? Because yes, he was going through a breakdown, but even before that, he actually shared a lot via his social media. And I think sometimes when you have the personality, well, I mean, this is not just him, because there's a lot of younger people that we mentor, we talk to.
Right.
Like, you don't have to put your whole life on social media. People don't need to know every step that's happening. And there is a delicate balance. And I even think about, when you think about Tyrese in this situation, his pleas on social media, what's going on with his kid, even I'm going to air quote this, y'all, his beef with The Rock
Right.
about, him starting the movie and, then his alleged loan from the Smiths and all this stuff that happened, right? And it all played out on social media. And him sharing it is what caused the continuation of the conversation, right? I think at every turn he felt like he had to explain himself. The flip of that is, and I want to just compare, it's the Carters, right? You have Beyonce and Jay-Z. They go out of their way to not share, to be very private. Sure. And they make it a point that when they share strategically, they share with a purpose, and they share at the end goal is this is going to grow our platform, put money in our pocket, take care of our family. Like, it's always very strategic, right?
Also the Obamas.
So the same thing with Obamas. Like, it's the same thing. It's very strategic, and they think about what they're going to do. Now, recently this weekend, we saw this whole Sern Rumi thing go down. Now, I don't know if anybody caught this. I follow Beyonce page, but also follow Be Light, right? I saw the Sern Rumi pictures go up like maybe Thursday, right? Something like that. And I saw one of the artists say, you might want to take that down because you didn't clear it yet. Then maybe 36 hours later, it went back up with approval.
Right.
And I thought about that. I was like, because people started going crazy, like, oh my God, because whoever this person is the photographer, but put the pictures up because I think she had kind of pseudo approval or whatever,
Right.
but she had to get it cleared from everybody, right? But I think about that because they really do go out of their way to show content that they approve.
Cleared from Beyonce's camp? Or
Yes.
cleared from
Beyond, I think cleared from daddy and mommy.
Got it.
That's what I'm thinking, because the person who, I'm not gonna say who I saw comment, but the person who said it was like, you might want to take that down, and it was one of the artists on Beyonce's label. You might want to take that down.
Yeah, somebody who's privy to how they do business.
How they do
Right.
business, and
Right.
like literally, I went to take a picture, and I went to take, and it was gone.
Right.
And then like a day and a half later, it went
was
back
back
up, and
up.
and
Right.
everybody saw it. So I guess she was like, well, at this point, some people probably got it anyway, so just go ahead or whatever.
Right.
But I think about them, and I think about how they, even when they share their life because they're sharing their life, not because if there's a rumor mill going, they're going to let the rumor mill go, but they're not going to actually give fire to the rumor mill. And I think this is where maybe the issue with oversharing with Tyrese comes in, because even if there was a rumor, but nobody really would have known about his personal business, his issue with The Rock, like nobody would have known that, because it's Tyrese. I'm not trying to downplay him, but like nobody's really following like that. You know what I mean?
Or even if they are, there's a way to keep beef private.
Right.
You know, there are all kinds of lawsuits and litigations going on around us every day with people we know.
Yeah.
And we don't hear about it.
We don't hear about
because
it.
of people knowing how to be private with what.
And the
matters.
people know that exactly, know how to be private with what matters, and stop oversharing. Just stop oversharing. Like, just kind of somehow you just need to take it to somebody and just be like, this is too much information. You don't need to share that. So this portion of our show is sponsored by The Sphere. Are you starting your business and looking for a place to advertise? Do you have a need to reach out to thousands of people across the world to build your brand or sell your product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at The Sphere. We offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Stitcher. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach within the United States, as well as modern countries across the globe. Our enriched content and inspiring dialogue, coupled with your strategic ad, is surely to hit the mark every time. Call us today at area code 832-772-7789. or send an email over to advertise@thesphere.tv. Again, that number is 832-772-7789, or email us at advertise@thesphere.tv. Sphere is amazing, y'all.
Yeah, the Sphere. Shout out to the Sphere.
It's amazing. I mean, things are happening here. If you don't, I mean,
things are happening.
Things
even
are
in the studio, even now.
Even now, things are happening. Even now, I really wish I could tell y'all, but I'm not gonna tell y'all. I'm not. I'm not about to play these games with y'all anyway.
Don't overshare.
We're not gonna overshare.
Come on.
So I'm gonna shout out and congratulations to Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah.
Tiffany Haddish. Indeed. She one clap.
There it is.
Tiffany Haddish was the first black comedian to host, first black female comedian to host SNL, and that's, well, they say that's a damn shame. Well, it is and it isn't, because there is, I think timing is everything, right? Mm-hmm. I think that certain things had to happen, and like you mentioned earlier, like we talked about earlier, this is for real a time that African American women are really rising up, and our value is really being seen, not just as support.
Because I believe that those in power took notice of when the black woman closes her purse, the business closes.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's the same thing that Rosa Parks taught us, you know, and it's the same thing that Beyonce fans can teach you.
Yep.
Listen, in academia, we call it group economics.
Listen,
it's when a certain group, you know,
if
takes the buying power back out of the market.
Let a mom decide that their family is going vegan.
Listen, ain't no beef, chicken, or turkey, nothing happening.
Right.
Fish, fowl, and nothing else.
Right.
What can we do? And, you know, I don't know how true this is, but I know that, of course, amidst all the controversy throughout the year, even before this election, you know, there was some from this administration was talking about how SNL wasn't as good as it used to be, and all these things, and how, you know, the platform is different now. And this could or could not be true, but having a Tiffany Haddish did bring viewers in, because people wanted to see her win. Right? This is Tiffany Haddish. We want to see her win. We want to support her. You know, inevitably we're supporting the show, but we're supporting Tiffany.
And I think that NBC felt it.
Oh yeah,
she has such a great story too, from being homeless, you know,
a foster kid.
Being, you know, her parents are from Eritrea, and so, you know, she's dealing with a lot of international thing, you know, so she has such a phenomenal story for her to have gotten into to the platform.
I loved how I just saw so many people I follow support this weekend by posting photos that they have with Tiffany, or posting pictures of her, because it doesn't happen when Justin Timberlake hosts.
Right.
And I love Justin. I'm a huge Justin fan, but Justin also has access to.
He can do that at any point.
At any point, and he can sneeze and the world changes. But Tiffany, like, her getting that is a big deal, and we don't take time to make a big deal out of ourselves. They'll stop hiring us and promoting us.
Listen, you just said it. You hit the nail on the head. That is that we need to, when we see one of us, whether it's male or female, in a position to win, we need to support them. We have to galvanize behind it, because there's not only so many opportunities we get, and sometimes we are our best, you know, cheerleaders. You know, sometimes our cheerleaders don't always, because I think sometimes in the past, a lot of times we had to go outside of our circle to get that influential push, and we don't know what that looked like. We don't know what the bargain for exchange was, right? If we start doing it from within, I think we start becoming more of a force and momentum. And like VP said, you know, you also have this thing about social media and the buying power, not social media, but the buying power of the group that you're supporting. And like, if that buying power is there, then you can actually make the argument that you have in, you know, a legit person that you can get behind. So I think that's something that we can learn from this Tiffany Haddish on SNL.
And I think one of the funniest things was she decided to wear the same dress
she said, "I'm gonna wear."
She was gonna wear that $4,000.
But she wore it in like 3 or 4 or 5.
Why not? Only black women, not only. I don't want to say only. Please don't quote me. It may have happened with other people, but I admire how, particularly Tiffany said this, and former First Lady Michelle Obama has openly stated, I love re-wearing outfits that I've worn before. Because
it's the thing.
Well, you know, real people do.
But then, and also we have, let me say this. There is something about when you know something looks good on you, why would I only wear it one time?
Come on, somebody.
And if she actually obviously paid for, because you made a point to say I paid for this
$4,000.
$4,000, and this $4,000 Alexander McQueen dress is gonna get the wear out of it until this thing
Every
is stained
dollar.
to hell.
Every
You know what I
dollar.
mean? Until I cannot lift a stain off it. But I like the realness of that, because I think we
Right.
need to bring that back. We need to bring back the realness of
So,
people. Authenticity. We need to bring that back. Now let's talk about a changing tide in Hollywood. This is what I wanted to talk about.
I'm here.
Come on.
I caught a flight from LA.
Come on, he done
just to
caught a
come
flight.
talk to these two about this. It just happened to be on the air.
It just
But
so
I'm
happened.
so
Listen.
excited that everything is changing in the entire landscape of Hollywood, and people in high places are being pulled down, and it's giving new content creators like myself to have access
opportunity,
to
position, and access.
Come
And
on.
I just wanted to say, all these people, all of a sudden now, I'm not,
Man.
I can't fault the person who did not speak up
Not at all.
before
Not at
then,
all.
before now, because I don't necessarily know what was the preventative, what made them not do it, right? But I definitely have a question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
We watched Mr. Cosby be drugged for about 2.5 years, but there was never any talk about any of this happening. It just makes me feel like, now, of course, his name has not come up in all of this, which is great, because I think they literally tore him apart
Yeah,
on the horses, like you said.
Sure.
Yeah.
He was torn apart, parenthetically, of course, right? But I'm glad that they're leaving no stone unturned, and I'm glad that people are getting, I guess the gonads to speak up. Like, hey, this happened to me too. And it's not just men, it's women that's speaking up. Hey, this actually happened to me too. And I think that, like you pointed out, this is a changing of the tide. This is actually a changing of the guards, because there are some things that happen that only when you remove people can it change.
Right.
It cannot change just because you wag your finger at it, you know what I mean, and slap a hand. It has to be, people have to be punished correctly and publicly, because
Right.
now we have platforms that we can see people get punished. It's not enough to say, oh, we had a conversation, right? So we had Kevin Spacey, Jeremy Piven, which is crazy to me, Oliver Stone, Louis C.K., of course, Mr. Weinstein, the list goes on and on and on and on. And every day is somebody new, it seems like. Yeah.
And we're finally, and as odd as it seems, because Hollywood hasn't been equitable, we've been seeing equality for a while, but we have not seen equity, right? And so now we're in terms of all this alleged misconduct and people speaking out, and the backlash that's happening, which should I 100% agree, should be investigated, and if this persons are found guilty, they need to be taken care of. But as a black man, they've been touting that you guys have equal, and so why aren't you doing things? But there's no equity. Well, now they went after Mr. Cosby. They went after him and tried to taint his legacy.
Yeah.
Right. But they're doing the same thing for Mr. Weinstein. They're headed down the same path and I'm not preying on anyone's demise,
Right.
but at least it's equitable.
Okay.
At this point. So
Okay.
I'm happy about that. They're not just making the black man this scapegoat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm happy about that because for so long we've been that.
Yeah.
I'm so happy because also it's giving opportunity in Hollywood
Yeah.
to leverage the playing field. And there are so many gatekeepers, industry gatekeepers, that have locked doors to people that would not perform sexual favors and would not collapse when they say collapse. And now these people are out of power. And I find it very funny that Terry Crews came out, even saying that he was groped at an event.
And wasn't his wife
And
present at that same
His
event?
wife was there, and a Hollywood manager or an agent groped him, and he felt very uncomfortable. He left. He didn't stay. He shared this as the Harvey Weinstein thing came out, and he, out of integrity, he didn't share who it was. Well, 2 weeks later, a young actor comes out about his agent and how uncomfortable his agent makes him feel. And I believe it was one of the actors from the Netflix hit Stranger Things. And this person got fired, got removed from their position, and then it came out that was the same person that Terry Crews complained about.
Right.
Ooh.
And I just love that the roaches are coming out. And
The lights are
Lights
on.
and they scattering.
The lights are on.
And the roaches are out, but they can't
they're getting
run.
caught.
They can
They're
run,
getting
but they
caught in
can't
the rain.
hide.
They can't.
Right.
They can't. And it's a beautiful thing to me when when strange things collapse. And my favorite story right now, while I watch this, is the downfall of Kevin Spacey, who was one of my favorite actors. I was a huge fan of House of Cards and will continue to be now that he's been removed. And the fact that they're deciding to move forward with production of House of Cards is amazing. The fact that Ridley Scott, the director who's about to drop a film called All the Money in the World on December 22nd, has decided to replace Kevin Spacey with Christopher Plummer and reshoot every scene.
I love when you talk to
Kevin
people that are so
Spacey
passionate
was in
about their field.
$9 million to reshoot it, to eliminate Mr. Spacey and still release a film that probably will go on to win an Oscar just for the integrity factor. The fact that Netflix decided to drop a film named Gore that Netflix had collaborated with Kevin Spacey, and they just decided to drop, even though it was in post-production. They shot it, they funded it, they filmed it, they dropped it, and they've kicked him off of House of Cards, and they're rewriting it so they can start shooting after Thanksgiving a season with no Spacey.
And I totally get what you're saying. It's like people are willing to forego the money
for sure
to make a point, to save the brand, because the brand brings more money than this. This one person, and this in this world, this drop in a bucket. 9 million versus a 90 million.
Sure.
You could possibly gross. They have to look at it from it's a financial thing, but it's also like, what are we willing to lose? Because
ethics matter these days.
Because ethics matters these days, and people are not. That's one of the things that people are not willing to negotiate anymore. Like I said, this 2017 has been a really interesting year because we see a lot of people that wouldn't normally turn their backs on their groups, I
feel like we've seen the whole of America in 2017.
Yeah.
I feel like we've seen the nastiest moments and some of the most beautiful moments in this same year from just different ends of the spectrum.
Absolutely.
You've seen people like collaborate and come behind a Colin Kaepernick, and then you've seen people try to elect officials in Alabama that touch girls.
Touch
little girls.
Let's not talk. Okay,
I'm saying,
we're gonna talk about it. We're not gonna talk about because you got
them all out.
Drag them all out, because this is the thing. It's for so long we were trying to keep them safe.
Yeah.
We were, for whatever reason, and I don't necessarily know. We, not me. We, as in these
society.
other people, society,
Society
was trying to keep them safe, because for what we just can't. We can't have one of our golden people fall, as if there can't be another. Let's not talk about that.
No, and it's serious, and I'm grateful that society is showing that we have standards.
We have standards,
and because we're the same society that a year ago elected a man who was on record talking about being a sexual predator. And now we're the same society that is now saying, wait, we're not going to do this again on a smaller scale with senators and governors. And we're also not going to let this happen in our establishments and our industries.
Is that buyer's remorse? Okay,
I totally
it's buyer's remorse, y'all.
Totally buyer's remorse.
It's buyer's remorse.
38% of people that voted in that landslide election last week voted against Donald Trump, someone who was not even on the ballot.
Buyer's remorse, totally. And it's so important.
And it's happening from the root of the two.
It's from the root of the two. Now I want to skip down a little bit, and talk about Ray J. I want to say congratulations to Ray J, because Ray J.
What did Ray J do?
Oh, y'all, because you've been in the air, so I'm gonna just keep you up because you was flying.
Sure.
Ray J just signed a new $31 million deal for some.
What does he do?
He has an electronics transportation brand called Raycon. So
is that like Uber, or what is electronics transportation?
He's an entrepreneur of his own company. It's an electronics brand, and he's popularizing this Scooty bike, which has two wheels that are foldable or whatever.
Oh, it's a device.
It's an actual
thing to run. I see.
It's something he's doing, and apparently he got someone to back it, to fund it, and he's so congratulations to him. This takes him out of this R&B place and puts him in a place.
Thank God.
And
that's why I was like, who's giving this man $31 million?
And puts him in a place where he actually this might be his gift.
Yeah, seriously.
And he might have been, sometimes you got to push people into places, especially when you have families that are all in a certain group. They just try to make all the kids be the same, but this probably might have been his thing the whole time.
But guess what? It also may not be, but this is where he has the money right now.
Yeah.
So at least it will distract him from
absolutely
on somebody.
And I just want
y'all are so petty.
And I just want to give a shout out to the black man
for
winning. I don't either. To the black man for $31 million.
That's a win.
Life changing.
That's winning.
You know what I mean?
He's going in the wrong. He's going in the right direction. I mean, I feel like you got a Scooty bike, $31 million. Someone had a hoverboard a couple of years ago.
Sure.
I mean, there's always something to be created. So it's not anything that can't be. You know what I mean?
It's not monopolized.
It's not. That's what I'm thinking. Like, what else? Toothpicks, floss, all that.
Electronic
We've been
bikes.
trying to work on an app for 3 years.
Yeah, I'm
so
like,
that's crazy.
I mean, everything.
There's
So
space.
it's space. There's space and there's still money. Listen,
There's space.
and then money ain't running out. If they consider where was he talking about? Who somebody considered that? Never mind. I'll go back to that later because I can't remember his name. Anyways, okay. So this is another sad story. This is a really sad. So this is back to schools and students. A mother was just awarded $750,000 for her daughter's suicide. Apparently, a teacher caught her cheating on a quiz. Because she saw her look in her phone. Now, what was in her phone, she can't say.
Right.
But she made a comment to the young girl and said, "Hey, this is only going to hurt you." Well, the little girl left a note and said, "I'm just going to leave the classroom and I'm going to go home, or I'm going to leave the school."
The campus.
The teacher saw the note but didn't stop her. She left the campus and pretty much killed herself. The mother sued the school because she was like, y'all had a responsibility to keep her in school regardless of what was happening. Y'all should have kept her in school. This again is one of those situations where it looks like her background, she was African, and that whole cheating thing, accusing someone of cheating, that went against everything that
Right. Culturally,
what she believed in and what her family believed in, and so she killed herself. They said that she had mental health struggles. Now we don't know if that part is true, but we do know that depending on what type of household you live in, when you are accused of cheating, you go home and tell your mama that or your father that that may be worse.
Yeah, no, for sure.
The consequences of going home to say, "Hey, I couldn't take my test today because they accused me of cheating and they put me in detention or whatever." It could be worse than the F.
Right. So having taught at an HBCU for 4 years, and a lot of my students were of African descent, direct African descent, not like we are. Academics is beyond important, and I would have students break down in my classroom, in front of their peers, or in my office over a B+. Break down in tears. What can I do? My father is going to kill me. Obviously, not literally kill them, but and that's to your point. It's that serious.
Is that serious?
It really is.
I don't think I grew up in a house where, and I think we share this a lot. When I was younger, my mom was so strict, so stern, that I feared her to a point where it's like I couldn't really function, like wasn't functional. Like she was nah. You know what I mean? And it's not the whole, it's not what people make like, oh, your mom was, no. She was that whole next level of crazy. And I'm not even exaggerating. But
shout out to Mary Pierce.
Shout out to Mary Pierce. Next level of craziness. Shout. But she would be so like any threat she came up with, she honored it. I remember I wanted a bike, y'all, and she told me I would never get it, and I never got it ever. No birthday after that. I had like 5-10 more. Well, from her, she never bought me the bike, and I think it was after my 12th birthday. I wouldn't have asked for it, and she wasn't gonna get it from me. She said, I will never spend my money to buy you a bike, and that's what she never did. That's how legit upset she was about something that was so, to me, minor. And to me, of course, now I know it's minor, but in her mind, it was the principle.
And I think that's what this young lady
was facing,
who took her life, unfortunately, didn't have the power to be able to resolve. And I have a slew of friends that are African, and they've told me the stories of growing up, and it's cultural, and I'm
shame and honor,
shame and dishonor,
and dishonor,
That's what I've learned from friends in the Asian culture.
Absolutely,
I've learned that from friends in African cultures,
Middle Eastern cultures,
for sure, exactly. And so Americans are much different because I believe that cheating is part of the bedrock of our society. And our history formed. It was we steal and we cheat, and then we call it God. But
manifest destiny.
But
the Lord didn't bless me. No, He didn't.
That being said, this young lady, she might have been on her phone, whatever. I dealt with this last 2 weeks ago, where I was taking a midterm at USC. It was written, and someone I thought was cheating, but she literally had to pull up a dictionary to find out what a word meant.
Right.
Because she didn't understand a word. She's not American.
From here. Yeah, it's
not her first language. And so she was like, hey, what does this mean? And she had figured it out. And I think that's fair to investigate. But I also think if you're going to be a teacher in the classroom, your responsibility is to care for the welfare of that student. And
You
no
just don't
parent
let your
goes to work
kid
that day thinking that they're going to come home to their child without life.
And I think, like you said, you made a good point. We're dealing with a more diverse community, a more diverse society, and so we have to be sensitive to the needs of the students. I teach, and you know, I have classes that are very diverse, and I can tell the students that have struggles with English language. I can tell students who don't get the idioms that we talk through. We don't get the way we express ourselves, and it's always a challenge. So it takes a lot to be an instructor to try to get on their level, but that's what you're getting paid for. You're getting paid to constantly reinvent yourself and your style to make sure that you say things in such a way that's sensitive to others. Now, I have reserved one clap left, reserved clap.
Okay.
How many have we given? 3?
I think two. So this third one is a charm, y'all, and I have to clap for my boy Colin Kaepernick.
There we go. I was about to give it to him too.
He is the Citizen of the Year, y'all, from
GQ magazine.
He's the Citizen of the Year according to everybody. I don't care what. I don't care what these fools are telling y'all, and I call them fools. This man was strong enough and bold enough to take a stand for something he believed in. He lost a job behind it, but he will go down in history for this.
Yeah.
Let's be clear about this. He will go down in history for this. I love the boldness of GQ, the way they made it a point to let him be him. I love the fact he let his braids down. I love the fact that they showed him in more than one look. I like the fact that this is his Black Power ode to all things black. I love the fact that they showed him I love the fact that they allowed him to create his own little team. J. Crew, DuVernay, Harry Belafonte, like all these people were there to help create this shoot for him. Like that's beautiful, because he was like, I need to take back this narrative, because it didn't went all off. Yeah, it went all off. It went to some dang on flag stuff. It's not about the flag. No disrespect to the flag. This is about people that look like us and him dying.
And
unjustifiably.
I think that he also should get the most amazing American under the age of 30 award.
Man,
I think that he needs a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Absolutely.
I think that he needs already to be in the Hall of Fame for sports.
Yep.
So I'm predicting. In other circles we say prophesying, but I'm predicting that he'll have a Nobel after this book comes out. After this book deal that he said, he will get a Nobel Prize. Because we don't realize, some of us at large, we don't realize the cultural significance of what he's done. Right? So the NFL is the only organization in the country that owns a day commercially.
Sure.
Sunday is their day. Sure. And
they share with the Lord.
The Sunday, but the Lord is in an organization. Right?
The Lord is also in pigskin.
Right? Yeah, and that's what they believe, right? That's what
they do believe that
we've built in this country. And so for him to take on a giant that owns a day, right, and successfully, because of his efforts, him leading the efforts and spearheading his efforts, had viewership down 11% rather, across the country, right? Have had stadiums that are sporadically filled across the country because of people being divided on the issue. Regardless, now the issue's been talked about. Now it did get lost. It absolutely got lost. The narrative got lost.
Well,
but the narrative getting lost, it showed more bigotry and hatred that's inherent in certain people.
And
right?
it highlighted something that people
did some good.
Right, it did good. I believe that, because it showed that some people just don't want to hear the truth.
Right.
They choose not to hear the
Absolutely.
truth, and they will stand by the lie as long as it comforts them.
And by comfort, you mean inflicts something on their bottom line.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Increase their bottom line. And it's so many things. I mean, we could talk about this forever, but I just want to, shout out to him.
Beautiful cover.
Can I say something about the cover?
Yeah.
Listen, and this is Senior Wapo talking right
now.
Go for it. Talk about these peaks. These
4.5 inch peak lapels that are custom made. You understand me?
Oh my
Sitting
God.
right nice. And when you look at the shoulders,
is
right?
Is that Givenchy? Or
I don't know
is that
what
Armani?
it is, but I'm gonna go dig. It's probably custom. I'm gonna be honest with you. It looks like it's custom because
about the jewelry.
Because most lapels like that aren't off the rack, right? And when you do, and if you do wear a necklace with A turtleneck, that's how you do it. Something simple, something drop and pinned it.
And also,
all of it is great.
Also with the black on black, he
Absolutely.
did it right, because sometimes you can go black on black and think you matched your black.
Yeah.
But he
It'd be black and gray.
Different blacks.
He did.
I'm assuming.
He did.
I don't know. He dresses me. Kalan helps me with my wardrobe. But I love the way that he did it, and I love
Perfect.
that,
Even,
the hair,
even the
man.
gaze,
Yeah.
everything about the image is perfectly
Yeah.
executed.
It's beautifully
considering
done.
what's been happening.
It's
And so,
beautifully done.
Shout out to Colin, man.
Shout out to Colin. Shout out to him just being, in his realness, his blackness. I love it. I love that he was willing to take a stance, not against just persons in the NFL, but even against some, like we talked about, some even family members that tried
Absolutely.
to,
His mother.
His mother tried to slight him. I mean, he's done a lot. He's been through a lot, and I'm glad he's willing to continue to stand. He hasn't turned his back on the initial, his silent protest. He keeps standing for something. He has not changed his tune, and I love that. And I love the fact that even in all this, it gives you guys more platform to be who you are. I think that with a lot of things that happen in society, sometimes African American men aren't allowed to be be themselves. A lot of times you have to hide what you really are into. I think, I'm very thankful that y'all are able to be very creative. I'm very thankful that y'all are able to be embraced 365 days a year. But I'm also thankful for No Shave November, because in No Shave November, y'all can wear y'all beards and not have to worry about people asking questions about what these beards mean.
Listen.
So shout out to No Shave November for you fellas.
No, for sure. I mean,
Don't shave them, no. Don't cut them.
Listen,
Don't
I
cut.
believe our wives unanimously don't.
Listen,
think
no
we should
shaves.
touch 'em.
January, February,
Come
March,
on.
April, May,
Come on, like
June,
McDonald's
July,
said,
August.
Black
I don't-
365.
Right.
You know,
Black 365.
Big
Shout out to those high
actually
calorie
dope.
fries.
Shout out to whoever came up with that marketing scheme. And maybe
Don't say it no
maybe-
more, because I got an idea. Hush.
No, I'm just saying, perhaps we should have made sure that J. Crew hired that team. from McDonald's.
And that's what
come
really
in.
should have happened.
I'm just saying.
J. Crew should have consulted all people that have been in the black market for a long time
For
and asked them
sure.
because to be honest
Make
with
this
you,
run full circle.
this is because be honest with you guys, who J. Crew really doesn't cater to
No.
persons that look like us. So when you think of
that Michelle Obama was such a advocate for their
but Michelle
wardrobe, but
Obama was the first lady.
That's what I'm saying. But can I not appreciate the fact that if she didn't open her mouth, that what they've done in the last 10 years has certainly been because of what she decided to wear.
That's true. She should have even asked them.
Come on, somebody.
Because Malia and Sasha's hair don't look like that no day of the week.
Uh-oh.
But anyway, so we thank you guys for tuning
Message.
into Society
Thank
now.
y'all.
You're amazing. We thank you that y'all love us. This is not fake news,
Not
and
at
we do
all.
not provide alternative facts. We give y'all the real. We give y'all the real. My name is Kalan Laws, and you can follow me on Instagram at the Modern Day Cindy. I have.
Vincent Powell. Follow me on Instagram at Vincent Powell. Also, if you're in the Houston area, I'm getting ready to work on a feature film.
I'm gonna be in it, y'all. I'm gonna
There
try
it
to
is.
find a way to be in this thing. I'm gonna try.
Listen.
Listen, I'm gonna get my Tiffany Haddish on,
Oh,
y'all.
okay. Listen, and apparently there's a market for that.
This is
I'm blowing up on it. But
Listen.
yeah, no, follow me for more information about that. We'll be shooting in the holiday season out here in Houston, Texas.
I'm doing it
Yeah,
somehow.
and you can follow me. Senior Wapo 713 on all social media outlets. Instagram. You can go to my website, seniorwapo713.com. You can tune into G is for Gentlemen every Thursday at 5:30 here at the Sphere.tv.
We love it. We
Baby,
love it.
thank you for having us on.
I'm
We
grateful.
appreciate it.
I was just a wanderer in the wilderness. and
We
it
were
was
so
like,
glad that y'all
hey,
could help. Y'all, I'm so glad y'all could come through.
Shout out to Allison Bullock.
Allison. Bullock.
Allison, we love you.
I
We
love
miss
you so
you.
much. I
Take
miss you.
take your
I
time.
have one clap reserved for you.
Take your time, baby. We'll see you
Last one.
soon.
All right. Thanks, y'all.